Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith and welcome to my review of El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. I need to tell you, I am in such a good mood right now. I had the chance of seeing this movie at a ridiculously early time this morning just so I could come and talk to you about it today. Breaking Bad, in my opinion, is the greatest show of all time. Some people might disagree with that. They'd be wrong, but I just love this show. On top of the fact that it had beginning, middle, end. It didn't overstay its welcome. On top of that, it had some of the best writing that we've seen. Amazing foreshadowing, phenomenal character development. It didn't overstay its welcome, and it ended strong with a fantastic finale. It went out on a high. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Game of Thrones. At the center of this show, of course, was the wonderful performance by Bryan Cranston as Walter White, the chemistry teacher who was dying of cancer, who took to selling meth as a way to support his family. And along the way, we met very interesting characters on that journey. And one of the number one characters on that journey with him was, of course, Jesse Pinkman, played excellently by Aaron Paul. And I say excellently not just as a fan, but the guy won 3 Emmys for his role as Jesse Pinkman. So let's give it up to the guy. Now, I'm not going to say anything specific about El Camino. I don't want to spoil it, but I will talk about Breaking Bad. And when we last saw Jesse Pinkman, he was rescued from a terrible situation. And of course, the question was, well, where does Jesse go from here? And before we get to where he's going, let's talk about what he's gone through. I mean, this is a guy who has gone through some of like the most torturous things that one can imagine. From literally being held captive to watching his girlfriend die, to being estranged from his parents, to just never really feeling like he fits in, to then being part of like this huge meth empire. So of course, when Breaking Bad signed off about 6 years ago, we saw Jesse Pinkman literally driving off in the hopes of a better life. Well, this movie picks up right after that, and we're seeing a guy who, even though he's been freed from his captors, he's still not really free because he's still dealing with the mental anguish of the torture that he was going through. He is still wanted by every law enforcement agency out there, so he's having to duck and hide, and he's basically still being held captive from within. Now, again, not getting into specifics of El Camino, but one of the things that I loved about this film is the fact that we have the combination of Vince Gilligan's genius writing. So we're back in that time frame. So it picks up again right after Breaking Bad ends. And one of the things is that Vince Gilligan does such a great job of bringing in different aspects of the show that purists who've seen the show will really appreciate. And also, it also brings us back to Aaron Paul and his brilliant acting as this character, because even though 6 years have gone by, it's like as if he stepped on set as if it was the next day, and he just seamlessly goes right back into this wonderful role that we all loved so much. This film is heartbreaking, and it's rewarding, and it's touching, and it just tugs on all of these different heartstrings, as they like to say, all the feels. And one of the feelings that I felt was just that we finally had a satisfactory conclusion to this character. We got it for Walter White, but we didn't really get a proper ending, the ending that the Jesse Pinkman character deserved, and that's what El Camino delivers for us. I say it's the Breaking Bad movie that we need, and the Breaking Bad movie that we deserve. If you are a fan of this show, so if you went through all of the episodes and you saw it and you see this movie, you're going to have a stronger appreciation for it. For somebody who's just like, you know what, I didn't see the show, I saw a couple episodes here and there, I'm just gonna go and watch the movie and I'll be fine. Not really. I think there's a lot that you could potentially miss by having not seen the series. So I'll always advise people, I'll always recommend for people to go and watch Breaking Bad. It's not a waste of your time. The first few episodes I hear people feel are slow. Sure, it's a slow burn, but once you get over it, everything that you see in the beginning of the series is kind of like laying groundwork to what happens later. And I feel with just jumping into El Camino, I liken it to Avengers Endgame. If you have seen the other Marvel movies and then you see Avengers Endgame, you're on top of it, you're loving it. But if you haven't, there's a lot you're going to be missing out on. And I feel it's the same with El Camino. So if you've only seen a few episodes of Breaking Bad, you're probably not going to appreciate it as much as somebody who's gone through the entire series. But I'll leave that with you. I think this movie was great. They haven't missed a beat. I'm so glad that they did it. For somebody like myself, who's a huge fan of this show, like there was nothing I would rather be doing, you know, first thing, like ridiculously first thing in the morning. I set my alarm for 3. I got up. I was like, no, and I went back to bed, and I got up an hour later and I watched it, and I loved it. I think it's such a great show, and I hope you guys have a chance to check out the El Camino. And if you do, let me know what you think about it. Like, don't be shy. Like, share your thoughts, even if you don't like it. I'm not gonna like not want to talk to you again. I'd be interested to hear your point of view. CFL_fan on Twitter, Facebook.com/Whitty_Whittier, and WhittyWhittier.com. Let me know what you think. I hope you like it as much. Even if you like it half as much as I do, that means you love it. Anyways, hope to hear from you guys. Hope, more importantly, you get a chance to check out El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. And until next time, my name's Keith. I'll see you at the movies.